Hey everyone, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with Season 2, Episode 4 of the Pokemon Babblers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Bono.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest with us today. He's a good friend. He makes amazing content as well. Check out his channel. Link down below. I'm not good with this kind of stuff. TomFaux, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Babblers.
Thank you for having me. Long-time listener, first-time video podcaster. It's exciting to be here. I've checked out your guys' podcast before, and it's great, and I'm going to be destroyed in Pokemon knowledge, but I'll bring to the table what I got, and it'll be fun.
Hey, well, wait, is this your first podcast?
Like, officially, yeah.
Officially. Oh, gotcha.
Because I don't talk about the podcasts that I recorded and then didn't release. They're, like, mine and secret, but...
sure.
Everybody says that, like, they're intimidated by our Pokemon knowledge, but I've always been like, oh, it's just, it's just the same. Because I've only ever talked to, like, Alex and my cousin about Pokemon, but we all have, like, that same, like, knowledge base.
Oh, yeah, you guys are, like, at Harvard, and I'm just, like, at my local community college.
No, honestly, like, most of these conversations usually be they'd be super casual. See, I can't even talk. I'm so starstruck that you're here with us that I can't even form cohesive sentences.
Well, that lowers the bar for me, so I'm chilling now.
See, we gotta level your expectations. Like, yeah, we might know a little bit about Pokemon, but in terms of social skills, we're completely inept.
I mean,
well, maybe speak for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's probably just me.
I sometimes wonder why women walk away from me when I talk to them about the competitive Gen 3 scene and why, the type moves and, the physical special split was so good.
See,
yeah, it's crazy.
And do you got to bring back Flucci Mane? Did they bring back Flucci or not yet?
Or no, he's still banned. Yeah,
he's in
ridiculous.
What's it? Ubers, yeah.
Yeah, Tom obviously knows what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not walking away right now.
So this episode is based off of two of the more non-conventional spin-off games, and by that I mean they're kind of like their own thing where they're barely really an actual game, where they're more of like a virtual pet simulator. And so we're going to be talking about both Hey You Pikachu and Pokémon Channel in this episode. And actually, before we get into the episode, we always ask this to our guests, but Tom, if you wanted to go over your history with Pokemon as a whole, about where'd you start with it, what games have you played, and yeah, that kind of
your
thing.
Bank account, your social security number.
Yeah, birth certificate. So we ask that every time.
That's an easy one. I already sent you guys that info to get on, but I'll just give it to the audience too. Yep. I should have started Pokemon with the trading cards way back in the day. My brother, who's 7 years older than me, got into it. And so then I was like, oh, whatever my big brother's doing, I want to do. We would go to Kmart and buy Pokemon cards. And it's like, oh, yeah, just Pokemon
Shout
cards.
Out to Kmart.
And, yeah.
God bless. And so then we'd be collecting. That was the big thing. We did learn the rules, and we would actually play the game. The problem is, we would trade cards, and I would trade to collect, and he would trade to beat me in the card game. And so, like, the battle started even. And then as we just traded more and more, I was like, look at my collection. And he's like, I destroy you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's some big brain tactics right there. Is like, little does he know, he might be getting the cards he wants, but he will lose.
He may have Poliwrath, but that Dragonite kills.
Yeah, yeah. Shouts out to Dragonite. Actually, what is your favorite Pokemon, by the way?
I feel like it's such a basic answer, but probably Blastoise.
Honestly, it's not a bad answer.
Okay.
No, it's not a bad answer at all. Blastoise is great.
Yeah, like 7-year-old me, I was like, bro, this turtle be having rockets?
Yeah. It's like, he literally has cannons genetically in his body. Like,
that's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
so were you blown away when the Mega Evolution came out? And he got more cannons.
Yeah, the cannon on his back, like right there, just coming out of his spine.
7-year-old me would be sprinting to Kmart to buy.
Okay, so I gotta ask this though about Mega Blastoise. So is that like his vertebrae that's just protruding out, that just shoots out water, or is that just like a cannon that's like right above that, but in between the shell? Like, how does that work?
The shells
like,
are hollow, right?
physiologically?
Like they have all their internals inside the turtle, not the shell. So I think it's just like a pressure thing. Like maybe there's water in the shell, and then like there's a muscle that contracts the cannon and shoots the water out.
I've always been interested about those like images of like where they show like the anatomy of a Pokemon and like how they think that it's like set up with like Bulbasaur and like the vines and stuff like that. I always found that stuff mildly interesting.
I think the Mega Evolution is just, it loses, like, even science is like, we don't know what this is. Like,
Gets the cannons on the arms.
They
And
know
then,
that science has gone too far.
The G-Max form, it turns into like its own like artillery unit with like tons of cannons on its back.
How far have you gotten to the video games since we were talking about TCG? Have you gotten to the video games that much?
Yeah, so video games, I was pretty late into it. I remember everyone like having the Game Boys and DSs back in the day. My first one was Emerald. So I got in with
nice.
Emerald, which is obviously like fan favorite. So yeah, I played Emerald, and like the day I got it, I think I got it for my birthday. We have like family home videos of me just walking around with my Game Boy SP, like playing Emerald. And it's still like people are still over like celebrating my birthday. My mom's like, Tom, what are you doing? Where are you going? I was just like, leave me alone. I'm playing.
Busy.
Pokemon.
I got stuff to do.
He's asking me which Pokemon I want to start with, and I haven't seen these Pokemon ever before in my life. Yeah, so I got in with Emerald, just dumped in hundreds of hours. I got Fire Red exclusively so that I could trade the missing Pokemon over to Emerald, and so I replayed Fire Red 3 times to get every starter transferred over. Yeah, and then basically burned bright on Emerald, and then haven't touched a Pokemon game since.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But honestly though, that's not a bad game to just be like, if it's just like the one game on a deserted island that you play, that's definitely one of them that I would have picked for sure.
Yeah, with the base building, the like beauty ribbon contest, the oh gosh, yeah, so many random things.
Yeah,
it's great though.
Or especially, I mean, I love that there's so many like extra things about that game too, like where they have assuming that you were at the point where you could go to your like a Toys R Us and get the ticket for Birth Island for Deoxys. Or actually, wait, was that did they do the official distribution for that, Bono, or was that
They did. It was at Toys R Us for the
yeah, because I know they did the Eon ticket, but yeah, dude, those tickets are so freaking expensive. Like the actual like ticket, like the physical item for it is so expensive. If you look online, those are things are like $2,000 minimum.
I don't think they did the one for Deoxys. I don't think that was an official one.
Yeah, the Latios one. Yeah,
Jirachi came in the disc.
Yeah, if you pre-ordered Pokemon Coliseum, then you got a special disc to put Jirachi onto your game. And so that disc is going, I believe, for around like $100. But people literally will offer services to like send your game over, and then that way they put the Jirachi on your game. And I was actually looking at this yesterday. I don't know. I thought it was funny where they say it's like, oh yeah, this is from an authentic game of Pokemon Coliseum. And then they'll ask, oh, do you want this one shiny? It's like as if they're going to spend thousands of hours just to try and find a shiny Jirachi for you. That sounds bullshit to me. Like it sounds like that they're just like, that they're just going to manipulate, like on like PK Hex or something, just manipulate a shiny Jirachi, inject it onto your game, and then say it's like the real service. Like, get out of here with that.
So side tangent with that, you can shiny hunt that Jirachi, and like, there was like for the longest time people were like I can't remember it specifically. I don't remember if you have to start your game over each time, but there was like a point in time where like the reset was like 5 minutes, and that was just what people did. And then people figured out that the way Sapphire works is that it makes like a backup save, which will be like a completely different seed from the one that you played before, but you have to shut your game off as it's saving, and then it'll do that backup save. And like that cut out like I think almost 3 minutes on the reset, and like the entire community was like, ah.
Dang. Yeah,
so people like really love that one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be talking about that one a little bit more on the following episode, because the next episode we'll be talking about Coliseum.
Oh,
yeah, that one
cannot wait.
That one's gonna be crazy. But actually, I wanted to ask you, Tom, because you asked if you could, or I asked you if you wanted to be on the podcast, and you said you were willing to be on this episode. Was there a reason for you to be on this episode? Are you familiar with Hey You Pikachu or Pokemon Channel at all, or you just want to be on here because just goes?
Well, yes, I do want to be on here just because. And especially if we talk about the video game Just Cause, then that's like great.
Right.
Because to me, the portable Pokemon games are like the main titles. I also did play Pokemon Stadium back in the day, but I mostly did that for the mini games. And
Of
so
course, as you do.
that was classic with my brother. But we did have Hey You Pikachu for the N64.
Nice.
So I played Hey You Pikachu, and I still have the microphone.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
Wow!
It's very damaged and almost dead,
Oh
but
my goodness.
it does work. And it works. I could swap to this microphone and you could hear the sound quality.
My god. I'm kind of curious, but also yeah, maybe another time.
Yeah.
Maybe record it separately.
Yeah, record it separately and tell us how it goes.
Upload it to MySpace or something like.
Yeah. Am I in your top 8?
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Okay, good.
What was the T-Mobile thing? The Fave 5?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Unlimited
Yeah.
texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tom's always number 1. Not just TomFaux, but MySpace Tom as well.
Yeah, we share
literally
number 1.
I literally forgot that his name was Tom until I was saying that sentence. I was like, wait, I have to specify this, don't I?
It's the whiteboard marker pose.
That dude is living his best life.
Yeah, he's doing like photography now.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
really good photography too at that. Like after he sold MySpace, he just like travels the world.
Took the money and ran.
Yeah. We haven't even spoken about the game yet.
Hey, you told me this could go any direction. I
Right.
showed the
That is
microphone.
very true. That is
We're
very
talking about
true.
Hey You Pikachu.
That is true. That is kind of reeling it back. So, yeah, Hey You Pikachu came out on the Nintendo 64 on December 12th of 1998 in Japan, and then in North America, November 6th of 2000. It did not come out in Australia or in Europe as far as I know. So it's basically just us and them. And basically this game is, like I said, it's a virtual pet game. So you control Pikachu with your voice, which is with a peripheral called the voice recognition unit. And it connects also with the microphone that Tom is holding frailly in his hand. That thing is probably going to break if you look at it the wrong way.
Alex records his thing, so I don't know exactly where Tom is on mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm next to Alex or
Yeah,
point
so
to it.
at least in the recording, Tom is in the center. Tom is in the
Okay,
center,
there
I'm
we
on
go.
the right, and Bottom, you're on the left. Yeah, there you
Okay,
go.
well then he's over there.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So
It's like pointing in the description down below, but people are like, click
like,
the thumbnail.
check the description right down there. Yeah, basically it connects by controller port initially, so you connect it to your 64 via the controller port, and then it has a little part to connect the microphone in, almost like a 3.5 millimeter, I believe.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
connect that, and then there's like a little bracket that connects to your Nintendo 64 controller, and so that way the microphone will be pointed at you while you're playing. You'd be like holding the game controller like this, and the microphone is like right there. Just basically just cobbled together, and there's only 2 games that ever used the VRU. It was, of course, Hey You Pikachu, and then there was like a train simulator game that was only released in Japan, and it had this whole just setup, and then it also had a microphone. I don't remember what the exact purpose of it was, but there's literally only 2 games. That one didn't even come into the U.S. or anywhere else other than Japan.
I'm scanning over the factoids here. Did you? I don't see that you brought it up that there was an actual Hey You Pikachu like specific 64.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was a specific Pikachu variant of the Nintendo 64, and I'll show you it right now, I guess. But yeah, usually they did so many different variations of the Nintendo 64 in like different colorways and in different like character designs. The Pikachu one is definitely one of the cooler ones in my opinion. But I love that, especially at this time in the late 90s, early 2000s, that there were so many transparent systems. Like you saw with like the Game Boy Color, there's a transparent purple, and then there was like with the 64, they had all these different colors. I think most of them were like Toys R Us exclusives. They had that one that was like an all gold, and it was sick. It was a really, really cool time to have like color variations on consoles. I feel like nowadays, I mean, yeah, they have it to an extent, but it just doesn't seem as cool anymore. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's like you just pick between black and white. It's like what's
Yeah.
your TV stand center console.
Yeah, you want it to all match
the
and
flow of
stuff.
the house. Yep.
Yeah, or even like on the Wii U, that they only had color variations dependent on if you get the basic version or the deluxe version. That the basic one you get, it was like, and it all has like the different internal storage size. So like the basic one, it was 8 gigs and it was in white. And then in black, you had the deluxe one, and it was 32 gigs internal storage. And that was it. Like, basically, it was... It's just so odd on some of these choices. But, yeah, the Pikachu 64 is really cool.
I was misremembering, because I thought it also came with, like, it was, like, bundled with the game, and it came with its own microphone. I guess I misremembered that.
No.
But it definitely
was
was a really cool 64.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, if anybody has an extra 64 that you want to send over to me, I mean... Basically, the VRU, it recognizes 200 words that you could say to Pikachu, and that's pretty much how you control it. You could have it, like, do certain moves, you could have it move in certain directions, or pick up certain items, and just interact with its world overall.
Well, from what I've seen, recognizes 200 words is a very loose term.
Yeah. But also, this game was not oriented for man-children like us. It was mainly set up for actual children, not man-children, actual children.
Damn it.
I know. So, pretty much, if you wanted to play this, you have to like make your voice like high-pitched so it could recognize it. So I believe if you have a lower bassy voice, then Pikachu will not fully understand. So... Yeah, and also, oddly enough, the VRUs were region-locked, so you couldn't use a Japanese VRU on a North American N64, which is the most, like...
That's the most Nintendo move ever.
Yeah, it is very Nintendo. It is very much on brand. I remember seeing, like, a Did You Know Gaming about this, and that I guess so there's a rumor circulating about this game is that if you try and say the words like Sony or PlayStation, that Pikachu would get upset. But that ended up being a false rumor, is that if you called it an electric rat, then it would get upset. So,
that's funny.
I feel like I can make a joke.
But if you called it an electric mouse, nothing would happen.
Yeah, exactly. An electric mouse. But if you call it an electric rat, or honestly, if you just call it Bono, it would probably get upset.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. If you like, just gets up right up to the camera, just, how dare you say that to me?
Rat.
The game just shuts down immediately.
Yeah. It does like just T-poses, game shuts off.
Yeah, I remember playing the game, and yeah, me and my brother, of course, because like you start playing the game, you're just like, hey, Pikachu.
You Pikachu.
Hey. Yeah, and you're like trying to get it to do anything. I think I remember like fishing was one of the activities or something, and so like you're at this park or like this little koi pond, and you're like, Pikachu, because it never understands the first time. Pikachu, please. And fish. And you're just trying to get it to do anything. And so then, of course, within like 30 minutes, we're basically just like insulting it over and over. And we're just calling it stupid, dumb, idiot, rat, Pikachu. And yeah, we were trying to get like any sort of reaction out of it. And yeah, I think if it was words it didn't recognize or didn't know what you wanted, it would just get confused, which makes sense. But yeah, like, it's so funny. It's basically like we were the internet troll and Pikachu wasn't giving us a reaction, and so we were just getting pissed. We're like, Pikachu, goddamn! Like, we just get so mad, and every time he's just like, Pika, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill you, rat.
It's just like it's like a golden retriever. It's just happy to be there.
It's
like it doesn't know what you're saying to it. It's just like, oh, you're interacting with me. I'm just happy to be acknowledged. Yeah.
I wonder, like, in the meeting room, like, how they were weighing this game, because clearly from like the testing side of this, the people must have told them like, hey, it doesn't do like anything, you know.
They're like,
unless
sold.
you try, but they're like, oh, maybe the technology of the voice aspect will sell it in the market to people. Like, oh, you can talk to it. Oh, dude, gotta buy it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a huge theme with Nintendo. Actually, is like, okay, we have this kind of placeholder game. It's kind of like a tech demo, but then we'll get the technology in the household, and then we're going to sell so many games with that technology. Like, I bought the Wii Speak microphone for Animal Crossing City Folk.
No.
Yeah, I put that little turd on top of my TV to go over to someone's island or whatever, and I used it like once, and then I don't think there was like one other game that used Wii Speak functionality. It's like, it's the same thing. I got debated. I bought 2 different Nintendo microphones.
It just seems like you have a penchant towards Nintendo microphones for some odd reason.
Yeah, I was saying Nintendo's always pushing like that extra technology like in house, and like it constantly like fails. Whereas Xbox tried it once with like the Kinect and then learned their lesson. We're like, nope, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But when Nintendo does it right, they really do it right with like the Wii remote. I mean, it's not like...
But they didn't do it right. You had to buy the Wii Motion Plus.
Well, later on, I mean, it worked fine for Wii Sports. It's not like you need precise controls for that. But you saw how well it did, and that everybody was following suit. That's basically why the Kinect started to do, like, they did a thing. Then PlayStation Move, that was literally the most, like, knockoff of knockoffs.
Yeah, that was the worst.
Yeah. So it's like, Nintendo has a lot of misses when it comes to that kind of stuff. But then when they hit, they really hit. And I feel like that kind of sets them apart, is that they're the ones that are willing to risk their entire fortune, their entire company, just for some stupid little remote control, versus like the other companies that are more focused on like hardware and performance and actually putting out like, I don't know. Everybody has their own strong suits, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Nintendo is not like a video game manufacturer. They're like, we are a
toy company,
global family, toy company, like selling to. We want to better the world with a happy experience.
We are a lifestyle.
And then Xbox is like, get on Call of Duty right now. You're gonna get yelled at.
And you're gonna buy Doritos and Mountain Dew.
We're gonna say
play Call of Duty all weekend.
We're gonna say the worst things about your mother while you drink Mountain Dew Game Fuel,
and you're gonna be happy about it.
Buy
you paid for
Halo
this experience.
3. Exactly, and then you'll have so much nostalgia for it too. It's like, oh my gosh, the Xbox 360 was so great. Yeah, I had 5 systems with Red Ring. I mean, it's fine. I had tons of insults sent over my way and to my mother's way. I mean, it's fine. That's just part of the experience.
There are many sexual advances for people against my mother, but you know what?
It is funny to think about how Nintendo does have a history of like all of these attachments to their controllers or consoles, like because you start talking about the Hey You Pikachu mic, and it like connects to the controller, and so you're like talking as you're holding it. But then it just made me realize the N64 controller did turn into kind of like a Game Boy Advance with the little light and like a radio attachment and like the magnifier. Like the N64, we had the Rumble Pack plugged in. We had like the Hey You Pikachu bracket on top.
We had the transfer pack to connect Game Boy games on Stadium. And or even like the memory unit that was part of it as well. Like there was a lot of peripherals that got to be used on that controller. It was kind of cool. I mean, it looked stupid. The controller was stupid looking, but
the controller. I mean, the controller by itself was already like, what is this M? Like, what am I holding?
But you know what? There was a lot of good that came out of it. It just in the moment it was like, this is kind of stupid controller. So Hey You Pikachu, gosh, it's like I don't even want to talk about this game because honestly, this is the very first Babblers where I haven't played the game personally. Like
I'm so knowledgeable then.
Yeah, Tom, I think you're the unless Ivano's played it. I think Tom, you're the only one in this conversation that has actually played Hey You Pikachu.
Yeah, you call me in for my expertise.
Of course. Let me call my guy. He's an expert on Hey You Pikachu. We're basically Pawn Stars at this point.
I mean, I remember the game, like, it was super novel, but, like, I did have a good time, you know? It definitely did. The idea of, like, the Pokemon world, and it's, like, a bunch of trading cards, and then I don't think I even had, like, Emerald at that point, you know, because this was N64 days. And so like the idea was, the execution was terrible, and we knew that while it was happening. But as a kid, there was something. It's like being at Disneyland. You're like the age where you're like, that's not Mickey. There's a guy in there, but it still feels cool to high five Mickey. It's
of course.
You're still talking to Pikachu. And having him do like these 10 activities on loop, but like. You know, it's like you said, it's just like it's another stepping stone in the advancements of Nintendo's craziness.
Exactly, it's just some growing pains, I guess. But also, if they have the capital to make those risks, then I mean, why not? It's all. Let's just say it's for science. I mean, who else is going to be trying something like this? Yeah, so might as well have Nintendo be the sacrificial lamb. I mean, so be it, I guess. We have their whole backlog of games we could still play. I guess for the plot on this one is that you're asked by Professor Oak to test out an invention that he had called the Poke Helper, which is essentially just allowing you to interact with Pokemon. It's just their virtual way of saying, hey, this is the microphone. You're going to be using this peripheral to talk to Pokemon. And the first one you talk to is Pikachu in the Viridian Forest. And that Pikachu ends up being your buddy. You just go to different areas. I think it's actually in Kanto, which is kind of cool. Usually these spin-off games are based in the Lentil region, or they're based in the like Floria whatever stuff. It's cool that it's actually based in Kanto. And
you gotta say it like the Detective Pikachu movie, Kanto.
Yeah, in Kanto.
In Kanto.
Kanto. Which, actually, yeah, Detective Pikachu might be an episode. You might want to look out for that one.
Detective.
Revolving. I am so happy, though, that they actually showed footage of Detective Pikachu recently.
It's going to be on Switch, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on Switch. I mean, what else is it going to be on? 3DS?
3DS, yeah.
And 64.
Yeah, it's gonna. Oh my gosh! Honestly, I would absolutely buy it if it was on N64. Yeah, it's actually going to be coming out later on this year in 2023, and I already have that pre-ordered. Yeah, I'm very excited because I definitely played Detective Pikachu, and I really enjoyed that one. So you get to have Pikachu interact with Pokemon in these different areas within Kanto, and there's 17 stages spread throughout. 3 levels. So you could have it like you said, Tom, of like doing fishing for a Magikarp, or helping Caterpie evolve into Metapod or Butterfree. There's a bunch of different like mini games, like playing Pinata, and just random things with Pikachu. You have it like pick up stuff and like talking to it with like a megaphone. I mean, this is all just based off of like me reading notes and watching some gameplay of it, but I don't have a copy of it. I don't have the VRU or anything, so I didn't want to try my hand at emulating it because I can't imagine that the VRU working all that well with emulation. So I kind of just left it to just purely off of theory and not off of practice.
I think the game is best experienced that way, in theory.
Yeah, in theory. Yeah, in theory and not in practice. Yeah, that should be like the title for this episode. Hey, you Pikachu, in theory, not in practice. I guess that there is a regional difference in this game, a very, very slight one, that, well, you get random, like, actual items in the game. They're not like, oh, it's like the Pokeball or whatever. They're like actual things like a beach ball or snacks and whatever. And so in the North American one, Pikachu gets a cupcake as a snack. But in Japan, Pikachu gets a onigiri, like rice ball. A jelly donut.
Jelly donut?
Jelly
donut.
Yeah, it's a jelly donut. That's pretty much all I have about this game. It's the first game as well.
Bono's rant corner. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because this is also the very first game to include a Pokemon from a future generation in it. So I believe that Togepi was in this game.
Oh, okay. It's not a bad one to have.
Yeah. That's pretty much all we have on Hey You Pikachu. Bono,
it's time for my rant. So
spill the tea.
I was watching the gameplay of this game, and I'm like looking at it and like how could this game be better? Because obviously from the outside looking in, it doesn't look that great. It looks kind of like we've said before, like a tech demo. Yeah. Why do I need the microphone at all? So in my mind's eye, I'm like trying to picture like, okay, we ditched the microphone, like 100%, like nobody needs that, just like throw it out. And we talked about this on, I believe, a different episode where like it's so interesting when they do this stuff where like it's focused on how Pokemon interact with each other in the world of Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And you do see a lot of that and stuff like this where Pikachu wanders around and helps, like I said, helps other Pokemon evolve, or does like a pinata game with Butterfree. Maybe not that, because that's clearly just like a gimmick thing. But like, how would it be if this game was just like exploring Viridian? Like if it had like a set story, like it has, you said 17 stages, but those 17 stages are like mixed together with the mini games and like plot points where like Pikachu goes into the forest and Pikachu meets another Pikachu. Like, what does that have to do with, will the Pikachu run away because it's with you? How will that work? And stuff like that. Like I'm not going to come up with a whole side story here, but like if we took the microphone out And I think that's something that in the next one that they do with Pokemon Channel, like that's how the game works. It works with like you picking options rather than you trying to, Pikachu, use Thunderbolt, Pikachu, fish. We see that there, but like I think this game would have done better if it was more or less like a visual novel type of game rather than the pet simulator that it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could see that be selling a lot more because like, I don't remember if this is like an actual thing, but wasn't like a 3D N64 version of Red and Blue like in the works at some point, or like they talked about it?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but I have no knowledge about that, so I'll just go purely off of what you say.
Right. So like, it depends on what they wanted to do. If I came in and they're like, oh, hey, this is what we want. And I'm like, okay, we're going to take this out. We're going to drop that. That's dumb. We're going to do this instead. Like they could do the gym challenge. I don't know how they do it, but like they could do that. They could just do exploring the Kanto region and talking to people. I mean, like how hard is it to come up with, I mean, if you're already doing the visual recognition stuff and like the animations and stuff like that, how hard is it to just come up with like dialogue to be like, well, do you want Pikachu to fish?
Yeah.
Yes or no? No. Do you want Pikachu to go left or right? Left, stuff like that. I just feel like it would be a completely different game, but I feel like that game would have sold more and probably would have stuck more in people's minds instead of what we got. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom, you're the one that actually played it. You seem like you had a good time, but as an outsider looking in, I'm just like this game has multiple problems from like the planning stage, like the technology is just not there. I don't know who thought it was, but it is definitely not there.
Yeah.
Might be here now.
I think what you said there last is the biggest thing. Like the technology wasn't there. It's kind of like Nintendo with the Virtual Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like VR
God.
like damaged your eyesight.
Yeah.
Like we weren't ready. Like the idea of AR VR is cool, but we just weren't ready. And I think, like you're saying, the same thing with voice recognition, because Hey You Pikachu basically was the like Bethesda 4 dialogue choice already. It's just hidden behind this imaginary wall. I remember it was so like focused on semantics. It's like, okay, Pikachu's at this pond and you want him to go fishing. It's like, okay, grab the fishing pole. And he's like, huh? It's like, grab a pole. And it's like fishing rod. And he's like, oh, fishing rod. It's like, oh my god, like please just do something.
It probably extends the game length, but that's probably what they did. It's like how they made the games back in the NES era like way more difficult because it was trying to simulate how difficult it is in the arcade. That maybe this is kind of their way of padding out the game length, is by making it as frustrating as possible. They had the technology, they just didn't want to give it to us. They withheld it, so that way we could feel like we got a good value. Trust me, this is big Nintendo at work.
Yes. And then they sold it to the government. And
exactly. This is all just recording your information, so that way they can see your anger issues and then prescribe you more medication to keep you on their systems, bro. Yeah.
So it's like I feel like a Hey You Pikachu now could probably exist like on your phone, right? Like some companion app where you're just like every day you're like, hey, what's up, Pikachu? Like, how you doing, man? And like he would 100% understand, because like speech to text recognition is insane. AI understanding and AI dialogue being able to just like come up on the fly, but also they're Pokemon, so they don't talk anyway. I think Channel, like you were saying, is like the compromise of what they needed to do for the technology. And so it's crazy that Hey You Pikachu attempted all of this years before Channel. Because they just weren't ready.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Although with Channel, which we'll be getting to very shortly, it's such a trip of like how... Like, that the fact that game exists, like, the game is just an anomaly. It's so just... But only a company like Nintendo or the Pokemon Company would really be, like, the ones to do that. I don't think any other developer would be able to pull off a game that odd with it selling... Well, I don't know how well it sold, But just the fact that they put out a game like that is just so strange to me. But basically, with Hey You Pikachu, I don't know if I could give it a rating just because I never played it. I mean, based off of what I've seen, I would give it maybe like a 2 or a 3 out of 10. But I don't think I could comfortably give it a rating just purely off of that I never played it. So, what about you guys? What are you guys feeling?
I'd say it's definitely below, like, just seeing the gameplay, it's definitely, like, a below average game because there's almost, like, no goal, or at least that I saw, other than, like, just going out and interacting with Pikachu, and that interaction is very hit or miss.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't even, like, have, like, an average fun time playing it. Like, you know, it's like a struggle. So, with that being said, I'm leaning more towards, like, a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
I feel like 4 out of 10 is probably fair because it's not a good game. Like we're all saying, like the execution is a huge miss. But like we have to remember, and even Nintendo knew that this was like for kids, right? This is like for kids that still like and believe in Disneyland and like believe in Santa, and I mean Santa's real. Anyone listening, Santa's real.
Right.
Yeah, the kids are just so like absent-minded, and their mind is also racing at the same time, and they're so like ADHD that they don't care when Pikachu like has no idea what's going on. Like they don't care. They're talking to Pikachu literally.
Yeah.
The kids probably half the time, if Nintendo was recording this and was like eavesdropping in, half the footage was probably just kids going like just like screaming into the microphone just to be like, what does Pikachu do? And then see Pikachu just go it's like he reacted, you know.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
it's like sending a chat message to a Twitch streamer, and it's like they look over at chat, they're like, oh hey Tom. It's like, oh, they know recognize it. You know, it's like the smallest little detail is enough to like, you know, fill a kid with wonder. So in that regard, it wouldn't surprise me if there's like a bunch of people that have great memories of this game. But even me being a kid playing it, it's like it was cool, but it wasn't like fun like you're saying. So all that to say, I think like a 4 out of 10 is fair.
Yeah, and honestly, the way that you were kind of piecing it, Bono, about this possibly being like a visual novel instead, honestly, that would have made more sense. I probably would have enjoyed that. Like, honestly, I'd probably be more likely to play it if it was something along those lines instead of having the gimmick of, like, the microphone. I feel like that's just a little bit too... It's just too much. And then also, Tom, like you were saying, like, the technology just wasn't there. And so, had they found some kind of middle ground, then it probably would have been something that people would have actually remembered in a positive light instead of just, oh, yeah, it's a game where you scream into a mic and you hope that Pikachu does something.
Right.
And I feel like that's all it's kind of burnt down to.
This is kind of like reflective of like my more modern views with games. I mean, don't get me wrong, indie games are cool and they like have their place, but all of them are like platformers, right? But there are like, you know, those good platformers like Celeste, and I don't know if Shovel Knight is Shovel Knight a platformer?
Shovel Knight is a platformer.
And then what about the Undertale's Undertale platform? I don't think I've ever played.
No. Undertale's more like an RPG.
RPG, okay.
Hollow Knight, though.
Yeah,
platformer.
Yeah, Hollow Knight, Super Meat Boy, Limbo, all that kind of stuff.
So, like, all those indie games, right? And some of them are hits, like all those ones that we just mentioned. But for me, it's like I'm, like, very surprised that, like, visual novels and, like, point-and-choose storytelling games aren't, like, a huge indie game. Like,
well, they were for a while. Telltale Games.
Yeah, like that. But, like, you know, Telltale Games obviously went... into the garbage. But for me, it's just like, it's crazy that like it's the simplest form of game, and because it's basically like telling a story, right? And it's all texts. Your animation work is like barely anything. You have like 4 or 5 idols for like one character.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like crazy that that's not like a huge thing in the market. I mean, it is in Japan, but that's like a separate market from
there
a
is a
worldwide
thing,
release.
Bono. It's just take out the visual part.
The novel part.
Yeah, they're books.
Yeah, books. But yeah, like I don't know. That just seems like a very low budget like way to get games out.
It's literally the manga. Yeah, it's just the manga is all you need at that point. Like, why would you even bother with like a visual novel?
Yeah, but then you have to like print thousands of copies instead of just selling digital copies.
Yeah, they could easily do that. Like if they put out like ebooks on the Switch, That would be really cool, especially if you held it like in a vertical format and you just read your book like that, like a Kindle. That would be so sick.
Yeah, but you can't tell different routes. You'd have to buy more books.
I mean,
Like, visual novels aren't just like the one path. I'm talking about like the ones that have like branching paths and different different choices lead to different
that would
conclusions.
be cool. Like a choose your own adventure. It's like, okay, you could click this button to go to page 44 or this button to go to page 50. That would be sick. That would be really cool. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but
I don't think so. But yeah, that's just my take on like indie games of today. Like, I don't know why that's not like a huge market at this at this point in time. But like, I feel like, going back to it, Hey You Pikachu, I think this one would have been great. I think, you could have had that, and it would have been fine. Would have, should have, could have.
Yeah,
can't go, when I get the time machine and go back. Yeah,
was not. Not. Game is shit. You're bad for enjoying it. How dare you?
But with that being said, let's go ahead and go to
Channel.
Pokemon Channel, where they did implement some sort of choice system.
Yeah. Okay, so Hey You Pikachu is a weird concept, right? Like, the way that it was planned, executed, and all that stuff, it was weird. But it still had, like, a game to it, in a way. Pokemon Channel was just, like, an experiment. Like, this is just the weirdest. I had this game as a kid. This shit was weird. So, it came out for the GameCube. In Japan, July 18th, 2003. North America, December 1st, 2003. In Europe, on April 1st, 2004. And then in Australia, at just some point in 2004. I don't see an actual release date. I think it was the same with one of the other games we were talking about recently. That we didn't see, like, the actual day of release. So
that's how popular it is. We don't even know.
Yeah, it just showed up. It just showed up and shows like, oh, well, I guess we're selling this now. So it's not an official sequel to Hey You Pikachu, but a lot of people consider it like the spiritual successor to it. So that's why we're kind of lumping them together, because they're both virtual pet games that focus around Pikachu doing shit.
They had the same developer, didn't they?
Yeah, they're both by Umbrella. Yeah. And I don't really know what they've done, honestly, other than these two games. I don't know what they've done. So if I
was just looking, they did like Pokemon Rumble is their newest.
That's a good one.
But that's their like only normal game. Yeah. I think the one after Channel or before or something was like Pikachu PC Master, and it's literally like teaching kids how to use like a keyboard. So they definitely make the
like more
obscure games.
Kind of. Yeah. That's
up
odd.
until recent.
That's really odd. But yeah, basically the plot of this game is that you're given a TV by Professor Oak, I'm pretty sure, again, and it's just basically...
I like how the TV is delivered with Magnemites.
Yeah, it's just delivered by Magnemites.
Oh, that's good.
And it's just hey, you're going to be our focus group to test out watching TV channels, and that way we can make the best Pokemon TV station.
I wish that's how it worked in real life. Like Hulu or Netflix would drop a 53-inch TV at your doorstep and be like, "Hey, we want you in a focus group."
Yeah, like we will pay you and give you gifts. Just watch TV.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the Nielsen TV study group. Like, it's just Pokemon. Like, hey, put this box in your house and we're gonna record everything you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. It's free. It's free TV.
There's a Pat Rat inside listening to your responses.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, see, he's about to buy something, guys. So yeah, you get help with different Pokemon all the way up through Generation 3. So you'll see Pokemon like Wobbuffet, you'll see the Hoenn starters, you'll see Blossom, things like that. The game is based in real time. So in a way like Animal Crossing, but with this, it's all over the course of a week, basically. So you can beat this game in a week, but you play in just certain like little bouts of time. And there are certain events that occur during certain real times of the day, like in the morning at like 6 in the morning, and like you have to basically just play randomly throughout the day to get the most out of this experience. Because the gameplay is literally like flipping through channels. So there's like a channel for like buying stuff on an auction. It's like, oh, there's this binder, or there's this bookcase, or a plush, and you literally will auction on this. Like those...
What's it called? Antique Roadshow?
Yeah, it's basically Antique Roadshow, but in Pokemon format. Or there's like a game show, and they'll ask you like questions, like just basic Pokemon trivia. But you also, like, I mean, you're not always answering the questions. Usually you're just watching other, like, contestants, like, answer the questions. Then sometimes they'll ask you, but you still have to go through all the answers of all of them first before they get to your answer. It's literally all in real time. It's like, you can't really think of this as a game. Just, if you think of it more as, like, you're watching TV, then that's more of, like, what it is. it's just so odd. There's like a weather channel as well with Slowpoke, so that takes a million freaking years. Everything is just so slow. But the way to progress through the game is by watching the Super Pichu Bros clips that they have throughout. And so I remember Super Pichu Bros from, I think they had like a little, like a mini movie, like a short film before Pokemon the Movie 3 that had the Pichu Bros, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was one that had Smeargle. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's how I always remember it.
Yeah, so something along those lines, and they'd show it to you in little bits and pieces, like an episodic thing. And there was 5 episodes you had to watch through, and then once you have that, then the game is like beaten. And then Jirachi like shows up, and it just is like, hey, I exist. Let's watch everything again, but in the night sky. And
that's the other thing is that is like you want to be in a test group. Is the TV for people or Pokemon?
I don't know. It's like you're sitting there with the Pikachu. It's like you're a human, I think.
Because I saw
Pikachu.
like there's like a clip of like Meowth doing like a news report with a Azurill, and like it's just like speaking in Pokemon because there's like subtitles, so you definitely don't know what it's saying.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it's like who's making these channels? Who's operating the cameras on this? Who are the producers for this? We don't have the bigger questions, unfortunately, so we have to take it at face value. And even then, I'm still like baffled. Like, who am I?
It's big Pokestar Studios.
Big
they don't want you to
Pokestar
know.
No, they never want you to know. It's all just a big old conspiracy to keep the Pokemon quiet.
They don't want you to know that the Smeargles are on the writing strike. They don't want to. They don't want to write anymore.
They want you sleeping like Musharna.
Yeah.
We get no residuals, man. They just take all of it.
They just want you to consume like a bunch of Wooloos.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all just a bunch of Wooloos to me. Also, I thought it was kind of interesting, also kind of lazy. I feel like we'll be branching on this a little bit more in the Coliseum episode. In the game, so some of the things you could buy...
Just say Coliseum one more time.
Coliseum.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so...
This is an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, this is purely for the Patreon.
You can continue.
Yes, so the dolls that you could buy in the auction are literally the same ones that they had in Pokemon Stadium 2, just ported over. So they literally just took the same assets and brought them over, which I thought was kind of funny. It was kind of lazy, and yeah, and you could like decorate them around your room. I mean, there's some places you could explore too that aren't in the main, like the room that, like the home that you're in. Like you can go and interact with other Pokemon in different environments outside of the house. You're only there for a little bit, doing like a mini game or two, but usually like just come back to watching the TV. There was also a thing when I mentioned about Jirachi. So in the European and Australian release of this game, that was how you got Jirachi in those games. The distribution was from Pokemon Channel. Like it wasn't a separate disc, it was just in the game. And so for North America and for Japan, we didn't get that because North America, of course, we had the Coliseum pre-order disc. But in Japan, their pre-order disc for Coliseum was Celebi, if I'm not mistaken. Like they got Celebi instead of Jirachi.
I still don't think we got like an actual Celebi distribution until Heart Gold, didn't we?
Right. I believe that Heart Gold was the first time we got a Celebi distribution, and then we got the GS Ball with Virtual Console Crystal. That was pretty much it.
If you can imagine that.
Yeah, and
there's
then there
no real way to get Celebi up until what, 2010 or 11? When did Heart Gold come out? 2010, I think.
Yeah, 2010. Which is so strange.
So from 96 for 14 years.
No, it was Crystal came out, or Gold and Silver came out, I think in 98 in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, like 12
but
years
for the
so.
US.
Oh, for the US, then I think I was like 99 or 2000. 2000, I think. So yeah, about 10
But we
years.
didn't get the Celebi in Crystal.
Oh yeah, right. But still, that's just absolutely absurd that there's some Pokemon that are like locked like that. Or then more recently, they tried to do a Shiny Celebi distribution in Sword and Shield to tie in with the game with Zarude, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you get a distribution code from the Pokemon Center website if you're signed up or whatever." And it was such a clusterfuck that I didn't get the emails for it. I was signed up and stuff, but
Yeah,
they
we
weren't
both
sending
were.
out those code ones. I tried emailing customer service, and they're like, "Oh, nope, nothing we can do. It's already over." It's like, fuck
Yeah,
you.
we emailed them a week later, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's too late."
Anyway, enough of the side tangent. Honestly, there isn't really much else to this game. I mean, yeah, there was some e-reader functionality, but nobody really used the e-reader as far as I know. So it's kind of just like a dead feature. There was also, it's kind of interesting, they had a built-in Pokemon Mini in this game. It was like, the Pokemon Mini was a little tiny peripheral. Like, it was its own thing where you could play some mini games on it, and the first one was more like a Tamagotchi with Pikachu. Then the second one had different cartridges you could put in there, like mini cartridges where you could play like a pinball game, you could play like something like Pichu game and whatever. But there was not like an emulated version, or wasn't in anything else until Pokemon Channel came out. So the only way to have played those games prior was by actually having those little toys. But yeah, this game was just so like, Channel was so strange. Because it wasn't really a game, but it was on a game console. And most of it was literally just watching TV. So, I mean, yeah, you could just go in and watch TV on, like, just watch TV shows on your television. Or you could watch TV shows via video game console on your television. It's just an extra step for something that's just lackluster. And it was just so weird that this thing, like, happened. I mean, in the moment, I really liked this game. But also, I was an impressionable 10, 11-year-old kid that knew nothing else other than Pokemon. And, yeah, looking back on it, what the fuck were they thinking? What were they thinking? Assuming that this
seems
was
like an
going to be a good
amalgamation.
game.
It seems like an amalgamation of a bunch of bad ideas, and it's
Yeah.
kind of sad that, you know, this company was given not only a budget, but like the go ahead to make a Pokemon game, and like this is what they could come up with.
Yeah.
But that also could be like, you know, what their budget was. Maybe they were given like barely enough to like even come together with a thing, and this is what came out of it.
If I was over at Nintendo, I would have totally just, like, shit-canned this idea. Like, this is just so dumb. It's not a game. Like, I feel like it's more like, that's more like a thing you say in an action movie, but this is not a game, bro. This is not a game.
This is real life.
In real life.
Like, I can't even think of anything
time.
to do. I can't think of anything to do with Pokemon Channel. Like, even with like Hey You Pikachu, I was like, oh, okay, you know, we could turn it into like a visual novel kind of thing and tell a story. But with Pokemon Channel, just like given what we have here, there's like nothing to do with it.
There is nothing in this game. There's nothing that was in, like, looking back on it, it's just not worth revisiting unless you just have random time throughout the day, like real time, to play this. I would honestly just go to play Animal Crossing instead.
I mean, at this point, I know people have been saying for years, like, oh, give us Pokemon Animal Crossing.
What,
like,
really?
I mean, it would. I think it would do well.
After this, maybe it's because I had PTSD from a freaking, like, channel. But no, I do not want a Animal Crossing Pokemon game, honestly. Like, just leave that out.
All right, well, Alex is a naysayer, but I think Animal Crossing Pikachu or Pokemon would sell well. I don't know how they do it.
I mean, it would sell well, but I mean, would it be good?
I mean, Animal Crossing. I don't care for Animal Crossing at all. So, but I feel like people who love Animal Crossing would love it. It's just Animal Crossing with Pokemon.
I mean, I love Animal Crossing, but I think some of the appeal are the neighbors in that game of like the different animals. Like, I don't know how much I would care for it if they were like Pokemon. Like, I can't imagine like Coughing having a house and like being able to like, I don't know, like customize it and stuff.
It's funny you say that because we haven't gotten to it yet, but literally that's just fucking Rescue Team.
Right. Yeah, we'll be talking about that.
Pokemon have personalities and stuff like that. They also have like their own houses and stuff like that.
Right.
So they've done it, and they've done it well. So that's why I feel like Animal Crossing Pokemon could do well.
Yeah.
Like,
debatable.
Like, you could plant like the oranberry trees and replace them with the fruit. You could dig up Pokemon fossils, which would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
And like revive those to get new neighbors to get like a Kabutops neighbor.
It's just like, I've been dead for 3,000 years, and now you bring me back out to like have me be in debt to Tom Nook.
To Tom, or what's the to Centret? Tom Centret.
Tom Centret.
Yeah, Tom Centret.
Oh god.
Yeah. Hey, free ideas, Pokemon. If you're listening, you know, you wiretap my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Pokemon and Nintendo notoriously listens to fans and
Of
always
course.
listens and gives us
course.
what we want.
The N in NSA stands for Nintendo.
The same thing with like the mini games.
Nintendo Surveillance Association.
Same thing with the minigames. I don't know if we've talked about this before on like another episode, but like I don't like a Mario Party with Pokemon. I don't know why that hasn't been a thing yet.
Pokemon Stadium was the closest
Pokemon
to
Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Halfway
think we
there.
might have said it in that episode, but like a whole a whole Mario Party with Pokemon. I don't, if they can come up with like 30 odd Mario games, I don't think it's impossible to slap a Pokemon
I feel
skin
like
on
you're
that.
making a lot of like parallels to Animal Crossing in a way, because Animal Crossing had their own like Mario Party kind of game on the Wii U, and it was an absolute dumpster fire of a game. So I don't know, I get so wary of stuff like that, of like, oh, what if like Pokemon had a tie-in with this? Like, yeah, there's been at least one crossover that I know that worked really well in Pokemon's favor, which we'll talk about later with Pokemon Conquest. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how like a Pokemon party game would be like.
Let me put it this
any
way:
better than
if they put enough money to do Hey You Pikachu and Pokemon Channel, they have more than enough money to do a fucking Animal Crossing or a fucking Mario Party.
Yeah, that's true. But honestly, like, would I go back to a Pokemon Party over a Mario Party? Probably not. As much of a dire
How
Pokemon
often
fan
do you
I
go
am,
to a Mario Party?
honestly, whenever I'm with a group of friends, we usually go to, like, when I'm with
Lies, all lies.
No, with personal friends, like, we go back to Super Mario Party, or no, yeah, was it? No, Mario Party Superstars was the more recent one. That game,
like Switch.
the soccer game on that is absolutely just insane. Like, it's so hyper competitive. Like, me and the boys are just, like, screaming at each other when we play that. And I'm not a competitive person, like, at all. I'm not a sports guy or anything. But that and Mario Tennis Aces, I swear to God, I'm, like, screaming at the TV with the guys just like anybody else would with a regular sports game. Or just sports in general. But, yeah, I don't know how Pokemon would be able to handle that. I'm sure it would be good, but I don't think it'd have as much replayability as, like, a Mario one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at a certain point, it's just how far and how thin do we want to stretch this franchise? Like, that's why Nintendo has Mario, and like Sony was so desperately looking for like a mascot character, is because you need a character that's like soulless, basically, so that they can do anything, and you're like, wait, why is that guy that is rescuing the princess now driving a go-kart with his worst enemy? It's like, no, I buy that. That's Mario.
Isn't he a plumber?
Yeah. And so then, like, Pokemon, I mean, where do you see it? Yeah, it's like being tossed around in everything, and yeah, like, oh, what if we made a Pokemon Grand Theft Auto? Like, there's that Pokemon game with guns coming out, like...
Power World?
Yeah, so
dumb.
it's just, people, you could take Pokemon and, like, slap it onto anything and get, like, a half successful boot. It would become super hit or miss, kind of like it is now. It makes me think of, I think it's like Warhammer, that like will sell their license to different video games.
Hold on, go ahead.
Well,
continue.
Yeah, I saw those little paints behind. But yeah, because it's like Warhammer games are either some of the best, most like loved games, or like, dude, it's $180 with all the DLC, and it's dog. Like, it's, it's the worst game ever. And it's just because they're like, I don't know, take our franchise, we don't care.
Can't wait till Space Marine 2 comes out and then I ascend. I'm just gonna levitate out of this camera shot.
Yeah, and so then Hey You Pikachu and Pokemon Channel are the ones that are like, bro, there's like 8 expansion packs. We don't know why. Don't buy them. They're terrible.
But at least thinking about it, at least they didn't have DLC back in the day. So Hey You Pikachu and Pokemon Channel couldn't have been any more expensive than it was. Because I think Channel, at the time that I got it as a kid, I think it was like $20 at Walmart. Because I think it was...
new?
It was new, and it was marked down, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marked down, huh?
Shut the fuck up, Vano. I swear to God.
Marked down, huh?
I was thinking how much it costs retail, because, again, if I go back and think, okay, when I'm a kid, if I had this game, like, if I'm an adult now, I would put on Pokemon Channel on my side monitor, and then, like, watch the Babblers podcast, and then, like, and then just have the game go for 48 hours straight and be like, okay, I did everything, next, and then move on.
Right.
But if I'm a kid, it's like, bro, I just finished dinner, or I just got home from school, and it's 4, and I have 30 minutes to see what's on the Pokemon Channel. Yeah. It's Pikachu. It's like, it's always Pikachu.
Right. Always.
But like, as a kid, it's like, you're never gonna be able to actually just blitz through the game, and so it feels like a genuine TV channel.
Yeah.
Like if we played those DVD menu games, like the Shrek DVD, it's like, yeah, you play this game and you're using the DVD arrows, and it's like you're like highlighting characters and you select one and they go from the static to the like 3D animation, and it's like half a second. Like, it's trash. But as a kid,
I do think that that's the first utterance of Shrek in this podcast. So
yes.
Now that I've had more time to think, like, simmer and think about it, I feel like what they did with Pokestar Studios, no joke connection here, in Black and White 2 would probably work well for a Pokemon Channel game. Like, at least that would have made this game better. If you were like developing shows for the Pokemon Channel, and like you do that, and then like in Pokestar Studios, after you do like the filming, you can go and watch it, and then like, you know, being able to like film it and then watch it on the TV and stuff like that, so that way you could like call your friends up and be like, oh, I did this one, like, look at how it looks. Maybe vary up the Pokemon selection, because some of the Pokestar Studio stuff, you're like, you can choose your Pokemon, or you could choose like a studio Pokemon. The studio Pokemon's obviously like the one they want you to do. Like, I think they give you a Riolu with Endure and Counter is like one of the scenarios, and you're supposed to do that in that order. Like, Endure, take the hit, go to 1 HP, and then do Counter because you're faster and you'll like kill the other Pokemon. I don't know. They could do stuff like that. I don't obviously think they had the budget to do that, but I feel like that would be nice, and they could do, because it's on the GameCube, where they can do like better animations than they would on the, well, we're talking technology wise. I think maybe the DS is actually better than the GameCube. I don't know. We have to look at it. I think they could make better animations on the GameCube for like Pokemon fighting, kind of like an anime and stuff like that. Also do like more anime specific stuff. I feel like because what you said, there were 5 parts to the Pikachu Bros. So maybe do like another, because if it's 5 parts, I'm assuming that's like one whole episode length cut down into 5 parts.
Essentially, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they could have done like 5 more episodes of like the Pikachu Bros, of doing like stuff like being superheroes or solving mysteries or doing whatever. And it's not like they don't have the time. They made almost, we're at 1,100 episodes of the anime at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah,
or not, because
we're like One Piece at this point.
Yeah, it well, not anymore, because we've done away with Ash, and now Ash we have the new one. So at least over 1,000 episodes. So it's not like it's unprecedented for them to be like, hey, can you get animation department? Can you come up with like 5 episodes that we could chop up?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we can.
No,
never mind.
No, it's not in the budget.
I don't know. Maybe if they did that, the whole Pokestar Studio thing, and then like more decorations for your room and stuff like that, maybe this game would be better than it is. But obviously, that's a perfect scenario, and not every game can have a perfect scenario.
And neither of these games were perfect scenarios. Actually, far from it. This is probably the most negative like reviews that we've done of any kind of Pokemon game so far in this podcast. Yeah, this is pretty scathing so far. Yeah, but at least for my rating of Channel, I would probably give it like a 2. Like,
I was gonna say 3.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, there's so many more things, like Bono said, that they could have done with this, but I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid, but also I had the attention span of a rodent, so more of Bono, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
it's just that for me, it's not a game. Like you said, there's no.
It's not a game.
There is a win condition in the sense that you have to watch all the episodes of the Pikachu Bros, but you're not explicitly told that, and there's no active participation other than you watch the channels, and then you're stuck with the real-time block limit, so you have to wait. And, you know, when you're playing kickball, you don't kick the ball and then wait until next recess to run the bases.
I mean, not with that attitude. I mean, there's always time. You could always try it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just lame. Yeah, and the fact that the main objective is just to watch the Pichu Bros episodes was just, I don't know, it's just so underwhelming. They could have given us some kind of reward like they did with the Jirachi distribution overseas. Like, they could have easily done something like that over here. Maybe it might not have had to have been Jirachi, but like they gave us like the Eon ticket, or if they gave us some kind of incentive, or a Pichu, like something to like motivate you to play this game all the way through, instead of just, oh, I watched Pichu Bros. That's all I got. Tom, what are your thoughts?
You know, depending on like why and how this game was made, I get why it's there, but yeah, it's obviously like super underwhelming, like you guys are saying. It's just, a lot of potential. It would be interesting to see something today. Like, I think you're saying with like the TV studio and like you kind of make your own content and then you can like watch it or share it. Like, especially today, everything is just sharing. And so like it's Pokemon and Nintendo, so like a lot of filters, but I would love the idea of like you making TikToks with Pokemon and you're like sending TikToks to friends. You're like, yo, check out this TikTok where Pikachu does this crazy thing. That would be more
enjoyable,
you know?
And I fucking hate this like Vine, TikTok, like short form content stuff.
Yeah.
But I would be way more like open to an idea of that where you have that kind of replayability interactivity.
You say it's Pokemon and it's censored, but have you visited the Pokemon forums recently? the new ones? The new one, yeah. Alex, have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. That Pokemon.com officially opened up forums. Yeah. I haven't looked at it, but I'm guessing it's probably just Rule 34.
No, it's just a ton of like inappropriate like stuff. Like, which Pokemon do you think did this? And it's just like, insert tragedy here.
Oh.
Yeah, and those are like all the top posts.
I forgot. Yeah, I heard the announcement. I was like, oh, what? And I checked it out. I forgot. The first post I saw was talking about Pokemon's feet, and then I just closed out of the tab.
Yeah. I think they had, like, the Vaporeon thing was also on there.
Of course. As you do. As one does.
It's kind of like one of those Reddit moments where it's like the mods are asleep, post whatever.
Yeah, but there's no mods in the first place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you go now, I'm pretty sure they're like all gone. But yeah, don't know what they were thinking with that one.
Let's do a review of the Pokemon.com forums.
On the Pokemon.com forums, day one.
Yeah, just reading through
more interactive than Hey You Pikachu.
Oh my god, that would be an idea. It's just like narrating, like doing voiceovers and just reading over the Pokemon forums.
My thing would just be in all caps, where is my Coliseum 2? Where's XD2?
Yeah, honestly, like where are all of these games that should have been made?
Or we Riot.
Where's Pokemon Sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, although it's supposed to be coming out in the summer, who knows? But, yeah, I think that's it.
I don't think there's anything else to say. I mean, I've spun the perfect version of these games, and I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I think we overstayed our welcome with these games. Like, they're not worth it. Like, just watch gameplay of it, and that's pretty much it. Like, I have nothing else.
I mean, even with all the, like, the review, there was, like, long play videos, which were, like, 2 hours long, and that, for a game, is, like, ridiculous. Like,
that sounds like hell.
Unless it's, like, no, not, like... Even if it's a mobile game, even like some mobile games take like longer than 2 hours to beat, and the fact that this game only took 2 hours to like beat is like not even worth the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the long play of Pokemon Channel, and I was like looking at the YouTube like spikes of like most replayed moments, and I literally skimmed to like halfway. Most replayed moment was staring at a Trico egg about to hatch in 3 minutes, and the video just sits there for 3 minutes, and the timer is just like, okay, in 2 minutes. 1 minute, and it's just counting down, and then the egg hatches, and it's like Trico.
There.
Bro, am I supposed to just sit here for 4 minutes waiting for this egg to hatch?
This is just some kind of weird science experiment to see how long people are willing to stay. It's like that episode of Community where they're like sitting in the room and just seeing like who's gonna be impatient enough to leave, and Abed just
say 5 o'clock. It starts at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of right now. That's basically Pokemon Channel. Just watch the episode of Community. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, thanks everybody for watching. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate having you on. Hopefully we'll have you on in a future episode, which But yeah, if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe, comment, whatever, YouTube-isms. But don't forget to check out Tom's channel, link down below, TomFaux. Also, Tom, are you streaming? Or where else can we find you at?
It's mainly YouTube. I'm a little active on Twitter, but that site's dead. And so I'm active on Reddit. Oh, but that site's dead. You can catch me on Twitch. Oh, that site's dead. Yeah, just catch me on YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube streaming, bro.
Yeah, honestly, though. But yeah, check out TomFaux. Check out more of the Shaheener channel somewhere here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.